The body of a missing nuclear lab worker who vanished last year reportedly found skeletonized with a gunshot wound to her skull. According to local authorities, Melissa Casillas's body was found in a remote part of the Carson National Forest in New Mexico.
She had worked as an administrative assistant at the Los Alamos National Laboratory, which has been closely tied, obviously, to U.S. nuclear weapons research. And she is one of several people with links to U.S. defense and nuclear programs who have gone missing or died suddenly in recent years, like 11 people. Dr. Laura Pettler is a forensic criminologist, and Leslie D'Ambrosia is currently a criminal profiler. Thanks both for being with us. Leslie, what's the most important thing to try to figure out as we find yet another one of these people who, we don't know if they committed suicide or if this is something that was a homicide, which is how it's ruled right now?
Right. Now, this would be an equivocal investigation where we'd want to determine, is it homicide, suicide, natural, or accidental? In doing so, it would be most important to focus on this particular case. I know it's interesting that other people are missing, but this particular case and the details of this case are what's most important. And in profiling, what we would do is break down her lifestyle and everything going on with her into a list of very detailed information. And we call that a psychological autopsy. We would break down her life and see what was going on, if there were any difficulties going on in her life prior to, even months prior to her going missing.
Doctor, a homicide detective on the case said that the body did not show any signs of animal activity or disturbance. And remember, she disappeared a year ago. The body was found in this remote area. And then also, before disappearing, Casillas's phones were wiped. What does that say to you about this?
So that tells me that clearly we're probably dealing with either a homicide or a suicide. The fact that she wiped, or I should say her items are wiped and left behind, is not uncommon in suicide, where people do leave all their identification, as in this case, behind at home. They leave their belongings. And I just recently worked a case like this, and the individual left all their belongings and information behind at home and left on a long walk and committed suicide.
Yeah, Dr. Pettler, though, they have ruled this at this point a homicide. They believe foul play was involved, and it is unusual, I would guess, that you don't have any kind of animal signs, and she was, missing for over a year, and and now in a more skeleton state. What strikes you of this case?
So I think that Leslie is exactly right, that they need to be focused on the victimology or the psychological autopsy and breaking down who this person is, because most of the time victims solve their own cases when we study who they are and what their lives were like, and they help us understand their deaths by literally understanding their lives. And so focusing on who she is, where she worked, what she had access to, that will help kind of separate her case from the other people that are missing, because I know that that is something that people are talking about. Mm-hmm. But in this particular situation, the body has been there for a period of time. We definitely know that. So the authorities will most likely move into more anthropological analysis so that they can understand more about the bones, more about the body condition, why it was not, why there's no evidence of animal activity, why it's skeletonized. So they will have to really take a deep dive into those things to try to put a timeline together of how long she was out there. And then from there, they can help to reconstruct the scene. They can examine the firearm to see if it's consistent with the actual wound to her body. And using all of those things in totality with the victimology or psychological autopsy, they can start answering some of these questions that now finding her body has opened up, because now they have a decedent, they have a firearm, and they have a scene, and they didn't have those things before.
All right, so a lot more to come on this. Yeah. Dr. Laura Pettler and Leslie D'Ambrosia, thank you so much. Appreciate you being here.